Okay, so this is a logo intro animation, and so we're basically going to animate this logo that I've imported, and I want to show you something that might be a little bit helpful. If you've ever got a logo that has a white outside background and you're working with Photoshop, you can actually remove that, and I'm just going to show you a quick way how to do that. So if we go to this logo file, I've dropped it into a composition, and we're going to name this composition logo intro. And we're going to put this into our simple animations folder. So now I've got it down here. If I go to this and use my scale and I scale it down, I can see that I've got this white outside border, but I don't want that. I just want the actual logo. So what I can do with that is I can go into Photoshop with the file and remove that that white background. So let's go into Photoshop. I'm going to go to File and Open and find that file. I actually downloaded the SVG, which is a vector graphic, and you can pull that in and pull it out. You can also do it with a PNG file, which you have to have a PNG file in order to have a transparent background. So let's just work with the PNG in case you don't have the original vector graphic. I'm going to click Open. And we can see that it's got that white background on here right now. So a quick way to do this is go to our magic wand tool, and you can use this by hitting W or just going up and clicking on it. It's with the quick selection tool, and I'm going to just select the things that I want to keep. So this is basic with just 3 different colors. If you have something that's a little bit more advanced of a logo, it might be harder to do this. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hold shift and then click these other colors. So now I can see that everything is selected. I'm going to right click and go to select inverse. That selects all of the white, and then I'm going to hit delete. And now that we've got that checkered background, you can see that that's going to be transparent. Let me undo this. And another way you can do this is to go up to select and then color range, and you use this eyedropper to pick the color range that you want to get rid of. So I can click on the white and then click OK, and it will select all of the white. I can also hit delete and it'll get rid of everything. The only thing about this sometimes is that depending on the complexity of your logo, you might have an edge that's a little messed up around here if it doesn't quite grab all of the white if you have a blend or something like that. So now that I've got this, I can rename this logo, and we'll just call it logo-transparent so we know the difference. And then I can export this, and we're going to right click on export as, and we want to make sure that it's a PNG format, and make sure that we have the transparency, and then just click on export all, and then I'll put it right here next to that logo image. So now if I go back into After Effects, I can import that into here, and so we'll pull this logo transparent, import, and now when I drop this in above here, we'll disable this. I'll hit S for scale, and when I take it down, now I'm only working with my logo. So if I bring a background in here, let's say we don't want to mask there. Click off of here. I'm going to add a background. We'll just do this red and drop this down to the bottom. You can see that my logo now, if you scale it, will not have the white background around it. So that'll be how we work it. Now, if you can see in here, these white edges weren't quite removed. So I would go into Photoshop and kind of perfect that a little bit to make sure that it doesn't have that visibility on there. So let's go ahead and animate this now. So we're going to take this old one out, and we're going to drop this down. I'm going to change the background color. I am going to rename this to background, and we'll go up here to this fill color, and I'm going to make it like a white color, and then I'm going to go in here to where it says rectangle. I can drop this down and see we have these different options. Once I go up here to the fill, I can change this to a gradient. So let's change it to a radial gradient. I'm going to click OK, and notice that we have this gradient fill now. So let's click on Edit Gradient here, and I'm going to change the colors. I'm going to leave that white, and I'm going to move this black in just a little bit. And the reason I'm going to do that is because when I make this bigger, I want it to kind of blend a little bit better. So we're going to create what's called a vignette on here, and we'll put these kind of 4 corners, and I'm going to take the opacity down just a little bit to where we kind of get like this blended look to where the focus almost looks like a spotlight on the logo. And so I'll click on this, and I'm going to go to Align and try to center that up, see if it's in the center. It looks like it already is. Yep, there we go. Okay, so let's take this down, and now we'll go in And I'm going to take this scale up just a little bit more, up to about right here. And I want it to be a little bit smaller than this, actually. I want it to pop up about right here, and I'm going to set a keyframe. Now, I'm going to move this keyframe forward because that's what I want it to look like at the end. And I'm going to set another keyframe here that is at 0, so it's completely out of sight. Now, a cool effect here you can do is if you go over to this keyframe, right before you get to the normal size you want, if you go back a couple keyframes, or a couple frames, let's hit Control and left a couple times. I want to make this larger than what this next keyframe is. So if I go to that one at 67, I'm going to go up to about 10 pixels higher to that to 77. So what this is going to do is as I move forward, it's going to go larger and then it's going to drop down to kind of give it like a nice little bounce effect. So if I go up, it'll look like it comes in and then stops. Now I'm going to add some easy ease to this. So if I play this back, see how it kind of pops into place. And we can even drag this outer keyframe out just a little bit. So it's a little slow, but to make that and refine it even better, we can go into our graph editor and we'll zoom in so we can see what we're doing. We'll move this over. I'm going to zoom back. So now I'm going to go to my selection tool and highlight over these and get these handles, what we want to do. So I'm going to drag this back a little bit and watch what it does to my logo now when I bring it in. So you can see how it just kind of gets big and then stops real quick. Well, let's change this handle just a little bit. And we'll mess with these to see when we get the effect that we like. Just bring it up. So it's a little slow, so we could bring this back even further. And I'm going to bring this back down to right here so the velocity changes. And I'm going to put this back on the line so it's a little easier to work with. All right, so now it comes up and then it slows in. So it gives it almost like this, kind of like this feel where it's coming up, kind of making you focus on it for a minute and then going back down. But I'm not quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do is go back here, click out of the graph editor and just remove these two keyframes. And I'm going to make it come in a little bit sooner. So let's bring this up. And see what that looks like. So this is just zooming in, so it comes in really fast. And grab this keyframe. Okay. Now, once it comes up here, what we can do is add some type of effect to it. So I'm going to add some motion blur on this. If I go to toggle switches and modes, add my motion blur here, bring it in. So now it kind of zooms right in and gives us a good look. Okay. And then, let's see one more time. Okay, then we can come here afterwards and try to go for that same effect again and go back down with our scale a little bit and see what that looks like with the motion blur. So it kind of almost pops in. So it comes in and pops in. Now, what a lot of people would do at this point is once you're at this end, I would drop some text down. You could do that by creating a track matte or just bringing some text in from the side or from the bottom to bring it up. So if I go from the beginning now, you can see that it comes in and pops out. It's a quick logo animation. And like I said, a lot of these are simple animations, but you could take these even further by doing some different effects. If we wanted to, maybe from the beginning, if we go to right here where we get that pop effect, we could add some rotation. So hit R, and then let's say we wanted to rotate it 360 degrees. We're going to add a keyframe. You can also do this one complete rotation. That's what that 1x is. We're going to click that there, and then we'll go back to the beginning, and we'll put this on 0. And if you play this back, you could see that it zooms in. And we'll add some easy ease. Not move it. F9 for easy ease. We'll play this back. So we can see that it kind of animates. And let me bring this down a little bit, and we'll change our resolution so it doesn't have to cache through there. Let's change this resolution to half. And then we'll play it back. So we can see that it zooms in now from the beginning on that logo. So just a quick way of adding different keyframes, and this was the logo animation, so make sure that you look in the simple animations folder to be able to look at this with all the keyframes and everything that we've added. And I will see you in the next section.